Going further, I want us to discuss some key concepts in Python, and basically the Python versions. That would be Python Python version 3, like 3 point those versions, but also the intersections or things that end up coming in Python 2 versions. And still this relates to classes. Now, assuming you want to write a class, and we can call it D. In Python 3, this is completely fine. You're going to write a class like this, and then you might decide to use a constructor or you might not. But I'm sure you've looked at code that is written like this. And in Python 2 versions, you would need this object keyword. Why would you need the object keyword? In order to get new style class features, like it's sort of extension to use certain things in Python 3. But if you've seen also in Python, for example, people who write Django models, you've seen things like this: extend model, like model. This is inheritance. It's like you are inheriting this model class, use it in your class. But in Python 3, if you're not inheriting, you don't need these braces, these parentheses, and this is only enough. But in Python 2, you will need something like this object. I hope that makes sense, and it can help you know when to use this and when you see this to read people's code and understand what is going on. But since now we are in Python 3 and I will not need that, but we want to talk about some sort of inheritance, but also talk about the class method keyword. Now, for example, we have this class D, and we have a class level attribute multiplier, and this multiplier we can assign it a value which is 2 maybe if you want. Now we want to define a method called maybe f, and this f we said this keyword, this word might not necessarily need to be self, but it can be anything. So f is a function and it can take on one parameter x, and we want to do something with f. Maybe we want to print f, and we want to say hello. I don't want to use a capital there. Hello. We can put this string formatter, it is still okay, and then we put the percentage there to get the name itself. Do we need the name there? Maybe not. I just need to do some sort of mathematics. I'm complicating things for nothing. So we write f, and then we say return cls dot multiplier maybe, and we want to multiply that maybe by 4, maybe by x, but let's stick to x because we've defined the x here. This is something that sort of like is converting class level attribute if you look. So without further ado, we want to test out this. We will define our main function, and in our main function we will define our logic, and we say d equals maybe d, and because we are not taking in, we don't have a constructor, so we can say int, and we can say d dot f, what f returns, and we see that f takes an argument, just one argument, and we can say that is 5. And let's see what happens there. So we say Python 3 index, and Python 3 index, and we see, okay, we need to put that out. Doing this again, and we are seeing that we are not getting anything. And why would that? Okay, we are not defining the entry point. So if underscore name equivalent to open double quotes underscore main underscore, you put double colons, and then you call the main function. So doing that again, we are getting 10. This is running, but if you deeply investigate, you will see that there is something that you're missing. If you do something which you call deep copy and a shallow copy, you will find that you will need this keyword which we call the class method. And why do we need the class method? The class method makes the method receive the class itself. And that would mean like the class itself as the first argument. And we've seen the instance when we are using the self, where the instance was the self keyword was creating that instance. But in this case, this allows the method to access sort of like or modify these class level attributes and methods. That's why we can comfortably use it. Of course, even in this case, we are using solve, much as I changed it to CLS, but I wanted to align it with the class keyword, the class method keyword itself. So the class method in this case will make the code, how can I say, more performant in this case, I would say. So it is useful when you want a method that works with the class data, not instance data. So because of course we have defined this, but we need at the deep level to work with the class data, and that's when you will use the class method itself as an annotation. So I think that's all I had for you in this video. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.